Doug Pederson is getting interest from other teams. It's not really that surprising, guys. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not a fan of what Doug did this season, guys. I do feel like there's a part of me that feels like he purposely tried to do harm to Carson Wentz's career because I think there was a struggle internally. And I'm not saying that Carson's without fault here, guys. He did some things, too, that caused this separation between coach and quarterback. But I'm just speaking to what this guy is. When you look at the potential available candidates, Doug's up there, guys. I'm like, come on. It's not a mystery to me here. But all right, y'all. Let's get into this topic a little bit. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. Okay, look, interest is popping up with Doug. But I want you to think about who are the potential candidates out there, right? I like Pep Hamilton. I would not be unsatisfied with Pep Hamilton being an OC or quarterback coach here in Philadelphia, right? If Jim Caldwell has anything left in his NFL tank, he's gone through some health concerns, guys. He's an older guy. He's good. He's good, man. He's good as an OC. He's been good as a head coach. You know, everyone kind of downplayed what he did in Detroit. Looking at Detroit now, he did a pretty good job there, didn't he? And then if you take a look at what he can do as a quarterback coach. This guy made his money off of developing quarterbacks. He's a good candidate. Like, I'm not saying there's not good candidates out there, but I'm also not foolish enough to sit here and think that Doug is not a good candidate. He is. He's clearly a good candidate. Not for the Eagles. I mean, that ship has long sailed. We get it. But it doesn't shock me to hear his name getting, repeated constantly now throughout the league. Listen, head coach, possibly the Texans. I'll say this. Any position he takes as a head coach is going to work in the Eagles' favor because he's a head coaching candidate that has clearly nothing to do with the Eagles at this point anymore. So that's a candidate that is not within our candidate pool coming off of the board. That's going to help the Eagles because then you're only fighting between, two other teams. So if the Texans sign him as a head coach, then you're only fighting the Chargers and the Lions basically for your next head coach. If the Lions were to sign him, then you're only fighting the Texans and the Chargers. The Chargers were to find him, you're only fighting the Texans in Detroit. You guys get what I'm saying here. Like, I view that one as like, okay, who cares? Like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to say he's not going to be a good coach. He won't find success again. I think that the relationship between the front office, I think the relationship between quarterback got broken here with Doug Pederson, and I don't think he's without fault. I think he did some things that were a little shady in regard to the quarterback stuff. But I also think he was dealing with some difficult circumstances. Carson Wentz is hard-headed. I'm a huge Carson Wentz supporter. Come on, guys. We know he's hard-headed. There's no other way around that. The struggle with the front office. I'll give Doug credit for one thing here, guys. I think he needed to knock down this front office a peg. I think he needed to kick that soapbox out from under their feet because I think they got a little full of themselves. And you know what? If Doug did one last thing for Philadelphia, maybe it was to shake that front office up to let them know that what they were doing is not the way you conduct business in the NFL with head coaches. Listen, Chip Kelly went one step too far one way. We went one step too far the other way. A coach has to have the right to pick his own coaches. You cannot rob a coach of that opportunity. You just can't, guys. I'm not saying it like he was wrong. He was dead wrong on Press Taylor. I am not supportive of that. That was a bad play. But, hey, man, if you want to go down with the ship with Press Taylor, go down on the ship with Press Taylor, bro. It's your choice. Just know I'm going to hold you accountable. I thought he taught the Eagles front office a valuable lesson. And we see that they have recanted some of their statements now, right? Now it's not we're just looking for a coach that'll come in and work with Carson Wentz, which is a mistake. Like, I'm a Carson Wentz guy. I understand the contract. But, man, if he gets beat out in camp, like you can't, like, I mean, come on, man. You got to be holding to the other guys on this roster, too. He's got to go if he gets beat. It's just the facts. I mean, we saw that they reversed course real quickly, right? We saw really fast that they went, okay, like, we're going to back off some of these statements. We'll let the next head coach decide the future of our quarterback position. And look, I'm not going to make any predictions who will win this. I want to see the camp. I want to see them in camp. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what these two guys are doing in the offseason, because this is a full-fledged quarterback controversy. Let's make no mistakes, guys. This is controversy. We'll see what happens. The names that are popping up, though, outside of head coach, there's one in particular I'll be honest with. You got to pay attention to it because it makes a lot of sense. It's the Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks make a lot of sense for Doug Pederson. He is from Washington. I believe he's not too far out. He didn't grow up too far outside of Seattle, right? Pete Carroll is a defensive-minded coach. Doug Pederson is an offensive-minded coach. I don't think Doug is the greatest head coaching candidate right now. I think Doug still has a lot to learn about managing his coaches, growing his coaches, being the things outside of just being someone who schemes and writes a playbook. But I do think he makes a very good coordinator candidate. Absolutely. That would be a very idealized situation for him. Not to mention, Pete Carroll's getting up there. He's an energetic 60-some-year-old man. I don't know, 60, 70. I have no clue how old Pete Carroll is. He's getting up there. But he's energetic. But I do think Pete's probably looking to get out of coaching here in the next somewhat years. I mean, I'd say between the next 2 to 5 years, Pete Carroll's looking probably for an exit strategy. So having a guy like Doug Pederson come in kind of almost in a Josh McDaniels to Bill Belichick role, let's be real. I mean, it is ideal. It's a very ideal situation for Doug Pederson and the Seattle Seahawks. Like, I certainly can understand that perspective, and I can understand exactly what they're trying to do there. And I'm not going to sleep on the fact that that does make a lot of sense, guys. He could be quite successful, man. You got DK Metcalf, right? You got a very good running game there. You got an okay offensive line. I'm not going to call that offensive line great. It's okay. You got a very good future quarterback there in Russell Wilson. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't look really good in that system with those players. Let's be real. Systems matter. They do. Systems absolutely matter. Personnel matters a lot too, guys. And if you got the right personnel for the right system, it could be the golden ticket. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick type relationship in Seattle between Doug Pederson and Pete Carroll. I would not shock me at all, right? The other thing I'll warn people of is to watch what happens in Kansas City. If Kansas City's number 1 and 2 offensive minds behind Andy Reid get robbed and, Bieniemy and Mike Kafka, I think you got to pay close attention, because Doug Pederson makes a lot of sense for Andy Reid to retrade and bring him back. Deuce Staley, if he doesn't get a promotion in Philadelphia to offensive coordinator or to head coach, if he doesn't want to go back to just being a position coach, he wants an opportunity to go somewhere else for that opportunity to advance his career forward. I do think that Kansas City makes a lot of sense there. I think that Pittsburgh makes some sense, just like Philly makes sense for Deuce. I think you have to watch those situations. I think all those situations to me make a ton of sense, guys. I don't know how it's going to happen, and I know the fan bases of those teams won't, but you know what? Head coach is no talent. Andy Reid knows exactly what Doug Pederson is. And if Andy Reid brings Doug Pederson in, he's bringing him in because he knows what Doug can do. I wouldn't sleep on, even if Bieniemy doesn't find a job, I would not sleep on Andy Reid picking up the phone, talking to Doug Pederson and seeing if he'll come in as the passing game coordinator and quarterback coach if Kafka gets robbed, which is 100% probably happening. Kafka's likely getting an offensive coordinator or a head coaching position this offseason. To me, there's no doubt about it. The real, true test will be what will happen with Eric Bieniemy. I think all these things are very likely scenarios that could play out here. Doug could have tremendous success. I think it goes beyond just Indianapolis, right? But he's got guys in Indianapolis he likes. Let's be real. I mean, members of our coaching staff have left and went to Indianapolis to coach again. So, hey, I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that Doug could end up in Seattle as an offensive coordinator in that kind of mentor-mentee role. It's not really a mentor-mentee role because Doug's been around, but as a future successor type role, making a heck of a combo. He could end up back in Kansas City to rehabilitate his career, to rehabilitate his image, to rehabilitate his desirability along the league as a head coach again. He could end up with Frank Reich again, trying to restrike that magic that they had in 2017. That's possible. I mean, Houston, he would probably definitely gain more control in Houston than he had in Philly. So I wouldn't be shocked if Houston misses out on some of their candidates and circles back and says, look, Doug's a really good candidate. This guy's won a Super Bowl. Like, we probably can make certain concessions on personnel and give, Doug a little input here and probably lure him back into the NFL again. It's likely to happen, guys. But all right, y'all, leave me your thoughts. What do you think about the situation with Doug Pederson? What do you think about the coaching perspectives? I mean, look, man, I don't wish Doug any ill will. I mean, the guy won us a Super Bowl. I don't think it was solely him. I think he caught lightning in a bottle. I think Frank Reich played a major role in that. But, I mean, look, no ill will towards him at all. I wish the guy success, except for when it comes to Philadelphia. But that's my thoughts, guys. I want to know, what do you think? If you want to support the channel, don't forget there are 3 easy things you can do. Like, comment, subscribe. Guys, it's greatly appreciated by me. No one does this crap on their own, guys. You guys pushing my content out there is probably why a lot of people have run across me. So I greatly appreciate every one of you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next video. We're probably going to get right back into things again, guys. We're probably going to start talking about the cap. And then we'll probably talk about more head coaching candidates. I might keep continue with the head coaching candidates until that hire is made. I mean, there's still Josh McDaniels. There's still Mike Kafka's system to break down. There's Eric Bieniemy to talk about. Like, there's a lot of things still left here in terms of the head coaches to break down, the options. So I'll continue doing that until one is selected. And then from there, guys, we'll get back to the cap. We'll get back to the draft. I'll start breaking down prospects. I'll start reviewing their films. I'll show you what they're good at, what they're bad at. We'll get to all that, guys. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Bye.